Hello, welcome to Study Circle. Today we are going to read Class 10th Standard Geography, Chapter 1, Resources and Development. This video is summary of this whole chapter. If you are preparing for any teaching exam, this video is very useful for you. The purpose of this video is only for revision. So, without wasting any much time, let's start. Resources and Development. Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resources. So, in this figure, you can see the interdependent relationship between nature, technology, and institution. The process of transformation of things available in our environment involves an interactive relation between nature, technology, and institution. Human beings interact with nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate their economic development. So, if we classify the resources, this can be classified as on the basis of origin, biotic and abiotic, on the basis of exhaustibility, renewable and non-renewable, on the basis of ownership, it's individual, community, national and international, on the basis of status of development, it is potential, developed, stock and reserves. So in this chart, you can see the classification of resources, that is natural and human. In natural, that is renewable, non-renewable. In human, it is divided into structures and institution, quantity and quality. In renewable sources, it is continuous or biological, and biological classified into natural and wildlife. In non-renewable, it is classified into recyclable and non-recyclable. So, on the basis of origin, it is biotic resources. Biotic resources are obtained from biosphere and have life such as human beings, flora and fauna, fisheries, livestock, etc. Abiotic resources, all the things which are composed of non-living things are called abiotic resources. For example, rocks and metals. On the basis of exhaustibility, it is renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical processes, are known as renewable resources. For example, solar and wind energy, water, forest and wildlife, etc. In non-renewable resources, the resources one consumed cannot be replaced are known as non-renewable resources. These resources take millions of years in the formation, for example, oil, coal, etc. On the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, it is individual resources, community-owned resources, national resources, and international resources. So, individual resources are the resources owned privately by individuals are called individual resources. For example, plot, houses, etc. owned by a person. Community-owned resources. These resources are which are accessible to all the members of the community. For example, public parks, picnic spots owned by a community. National resources. These resources which come under nation are known as national resources. Technically, all the resources belong to the nation is called national resources. International resources. The resources lying around 200 kilometers of exclusive economic zone in the oceans are called international resources. No one can use these resources without the permission of international institution. On the basis of status of development, it is potential resources, developed resources, stock, reserves. So, in potential resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. For example, in the regions of Rajasthan and Gujarat have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy, but still have not been utilized. Developed resources. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization, like coal in Jharkhand or Jharia. Stock. The resources that have been surveyed but cannot be used due to lack of technology. For example, water is compound of two inflammable gases, hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a resource of energy, but we don't have technical know-how to use them. Reserves. The sources that had been surveyed and we can use them with present technology, but their use has not been started are known as reserves. For example, the water in the dams, forests, etc. Development of resources. Resources are vital for human survival. It was believed that resources are free gifts of nature. So human beings use them indiscriminately, and this has led to the following major problems. Depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals, accumulation of resources in few hands which divides the society into rich and poor. Indiscriminate exploitation of resources has led to global ecological crises such as global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, and land degradation. for a sustained quality of life and equitable distribution of resources has become essential. For using resources judiciously, we need to adopt sustainable economic development. Sustainable economic development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generation. Resource planning. Resource planning is a complex process which involves identification and inventory of resources across the regions of the country. This involves surveying, mapping, and qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of resources. Evolving a planning structure endowed with appropriate technology, skill, and institutional setup for implementing resources and development plans. Matching the resource development plans with overall national development plans. Land resources. Land is a natural resource of utmost importance. It supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, and economic activities, transport, and communication system. Land is present in limited size, so we must use them effectively. Land resources in India. About 43% of land area is plain, which provides facilities for agriculture and industries. About 30% of the total surface area of the country are mountains, which ensure perennial flow of some rivers and provide facilities for tourism and ecological aspects. About 27% of area of the country is the plateau region that possesses rich reserves of mineral, fossil fuels, and forest. Land use of pattern in India. Land use pattern in India. The use of land is determined by the physical factors such as topography, climate, soil types. Secondly, human factors such as population density, technological capability, culture, and tradition, etc. Land use data, however, is available only for 93% of the total geographical area because the land use reporting for most of the northeast states except Assam has not been done fully. Also, some areas of Jammu and Kashmir occupied by Pakistan and China have also not been surveyed. Land degradation and conservation means human activities such as deforestation, overgrazing, mining, and quarrying contributed in land degradation. So, the measures to control land degradation is afforestation, planting of shelter belts of plant, control and overgrazing, establishing of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes, proper management of wastelands, control of mining activities. Soil as a resources. Soil is the most important renewable natural resource. It is the medium of plant growth and support different types of living organisms on the earth. Classification of soils. On the basis of the factors responsible for soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties, the soils of India can be classified in different types. That is alluvial soils. Entire northern plains are made of alluvial soil. Also found in the eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna, and the Kaveri rivers. Fertile soil, therefore, fit for agriculture purpose. Regions of alluvial soils are intensively cultivated and densely populated, rich in potash, phosphoric acid, and lime, which are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat, and other cereal and pulse crops. Black soil, black in color and are also known as regur soils, ideal for growing cotton and are also known as black cotton soil. Found in the plateaus of Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh, also along the Godavari and the Krishna valleys. Black soil made up of extremely fine, that is clayey material. Black soil is known for their capacity to hold moisture and it is rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash, and lime. Red and yellow soil. Red and yellow soil found in the areas of low rainfall in eastern and southern parts of the Deccan Plateau. It also found in parts of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, southern parts of the Middle Ganga Plain, along the Piedmont zone of Western Ghats. It developed a reddish color due to diffusion of iron and crystalline and metamorphic rocks. Laterite soil. Laterite soils develop in areas with high temperature and heavy rainfall. It found in Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, and the hilly areas of Odisha and Assam. It's suitable for the cultivation with adequate dosage of manures and fertilizers. Low humus content because decomposers like bacteria get destroyed due to high temperature. Arid soils. Arid soils found in the western part of Rajasthan. After proper irrigation, these soils become cultivable. Lacks humus and moisture because dry climate, high temperature make evaporation faster. Salt content is very high and common salt is obtained by evaporating the water. Now the forest soil. Forest soil found in the hilly and mountainous region where sufficient rainforests are available. Feature differs based on location. Loamy and silty in valley valley sides, and coarse grained in the upper slopes. Silt in the lower part of the valleys, particularly on the river traces and alluvial fans, are fertile. Soil erosion and soil conservation. The denudation of the soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as soil erosion. Soil formation and soil erosion go hand in hand, but if it go beyond control, then can lead to disastrous outcomes. Activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction and mining, etc., and natural forces like wind, glacier, and water led to soil erosion cause a lot of soil erosion. The running water cuts through the clayey soil and make deep channels as gullies and make land unfit for cultivation and known as bad land. In the Chambal basin, such as lands are called ravines. Sometimes water flows as a sheet over large areas down a slope. In such cases, the topsoil is washed away. This is known as sheet erosion. Flowing along the contour lines can decelerate the flow of water down the slopes. This is called contour flowing. Steps can be cut onto the slopes, making terraces. Terrace cultivation restricts erosion. In these steps are cut down to create terraces, which helps to retain water. Large fields can be divided into strips. Strips of grass are left to grow between the crops. This breaks up the force of the wind. This method is known as strip cropping. Planting lines of trees to create shelter also works in a similar way. Rows of such trees are called shelter belts. These shelter belts have contributed significantly to the stabilization of sand dunes and in stabilizing the desert in western India. Sustainable development. Sustainable economic development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generation. Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit 1992. In June 1992, more than 100 heads of the states met in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. For the first International Earth Summit, the summit was convened for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development at the global level. The assembled leaders signed the Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21 for achieving sustainable development in the 21st century. Now, what is Agenda 21? Agenda 21 is the declaration is signed by the world leaders in 1992, the United Nations Conference of Environment and Development, that is called UNCED, which took place at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It aims at achieving global sustainable development. It is an agenda to combat environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation on common interest, mutual needs, and shared responsibilities. One major objective of the Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. At the international level, the Club of Rome advocated resource conservation for the first time in a more systematic way in 1968. Subsequently, in 1974, Gandhian philosophy was once again presented by Sue Massad in his book Small is Beautiful. The seminal contribution with respect to resource conservation at the global level was made by the Prudent Land Commission Report 1987. This report introduced the concept of sustainable development and advocated it as a means of resource conservation, which was subsequently published in a book entitled Our Common Future. Another significant contribution was made at the Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. So in this figure, you can see that land under important relief features. In India, the 43% land are plains and 30% lands are mountains and rest 27% are plateaus. In this picture, you can see the major soil types in India. The green one is forest and mountainous area of India. And this light green is called alluvial soil. Red color, it is red and yellow soil. This one is black soil. And pink color is the laterite soil. And in Rajasthan area, the yellow color is on arid soil. So, this is the summary of this chapter, resources and development. If you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.